Hi, it's Wanda here. Friday morning at 10:30 here in Regina. Oh, hi, it's Wanda here in Regina, Saskatchewan. I'm just going to check over here on my phone to make sure that you're hearing me. Oh, yeah, it is. So that's always helpful to know. So, Happy New Year. Or as I've been thinking lately, happy or hopeful New Year. Yes, hopeful New Year. I thought, as we have been starting lately, to just put your feet on the ground. Take a big breath in and breathe out over 4, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Just think about those feet on the ground for a minute, just to help us get oriented in the space, help you feel grounded, help me feel grounded. Just a couple normal breaths. Open your eyes if they were closed. So welcome to Unfolding the Path of Our Grief. This can be challenging to think about, our grief. Often we don't want to think about our grief. And I would think if you're here, you are aware of grieving, of what you are grieving. I think often we aren't necessarily aware of what's going on because we aren't often aware of what's going on with our emotional space, right? We can be quite cut off from that. So I encourage you to kind of tune into yourself, to your body, to what might be going on with you today. I know that, I was thinking about asking, what are the ways that you are supporting yourself in the new year, or that you were supporting yourself before? Nothing's really changed, just moved on a few more days. We're still here. It's January 5th, 2024. Not that much different than December 31st, 2023. I guess I did think about some things I could drop and leave behind in 2023, but I really didn't think a lot about, how it was going to be different in 2024, only maybe what things I was going to do that I would like to do and that would support me. So I was listening to Megan Devine on one of her podcasts talking about, how in December, as we move into a new year, that it can be challenging for people who've lost someone, especially if it's recent, but even if it's longer, with this idea that you have to say that they died last year. It's no longer in the same calendar year, or another year has gone by, and that can be challenging to do. I think perhaps because we already feel that people don't really listen to us or feel that our grief is valid. So, when more time passes, then, how can you still be thinking about that person, especially when it comes to someone having passed, to someone dying. So that was just something that I thought I would speak about. Certainly for me, when it comes to my mother's dying, that, it will be 2 years. It still feels pretty short to me, not that long ago. And yet, of course, things have changed over time. It isn't the same as it was in the first few months. And I still think about her and feel the loss of her. So that's what I wanted to kind of circle back to, is how are you supporting yourself in your own grief? Are you able to offer kindness and compassion to yourself? Are you able to do this? Because I think especially if we feel misunderstood, but often just as human beings, we aren't very good at remembering to offer kindness to ourselves. It's not our first impulse to be kind to ourselves. And self-compassion as well. Being compassionate towards yourself. You've been having some really difficult things happen to you, whatever kind of loss it has been. You know, I went through a time in my life when I was going through a series of bad, challenging, not good for me relationships, intimate partnerships. And it was several years of really challenging times. So that is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, and also to remind you that Facebook, if you're putting comments on, I will have to come back and respond after the live is over, because I don't seem to be getting notifications anymore. You know, Facebook changes when people have made comments, because I've looked and there says no comments, but then when the video is over, I go and indeed there were comments. So I know for myself that, you know, practices that have supported me, my meditation practice is supportive to me. And I know I can almost always tell if I don't want to sit down on the cushion that there's probably something I'm feeling that I don't want to feel. That often is the impetus to not sit. And then there are many times when I will sit, and it's not until I go out to walk that I really know what's going on in myself, right? So these, I guess, are also kindnesses that we can do for ourselves as ways of being able to tune in to what is going on with ourselves, because we don't always know what we are feeling, as I was saying before. So let me know, how are you supporting yourself in your own grief? What are some of the things that you are able to do for yourself that can be supportive for yourself? The other thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about was about anticipatory grief. You know, I thought about talking about it before Christmas, but I was too much in it. I have been, you know, my father is elderly. His health is pretty stable, but there are up and down times. I see him growing weaker, and I could really feel in December my anticipation of loss, which there can be lots of sadness there, the knowing of what is to come that's not here. So I just wanted to offer you some words of support if you find yourself in that situation. And I also bring it up because I mentioned anticipatory grief to someone recently, and they hadn't heard that term. Now, I don't always know if it really helps people afterwards. The anticipatory grief that we feel, sometimes I think we hope that it can make things easier when the person passes, but I'm not sure that that's true. I guess I guess when it comes to my own mom, I don't think it really changed things. It was simply part of that process. You know, when you have older parents and you see them changing, and when their health is declining, and you know what is coming. So those were just some of the things that I have been thinking about in this last little while. The poster I put up yesterday, someone in the group said they couldn't read it. So if you go to my page, if you can't see it and you live in Regina and you're interested in our grief support group, it kind of has the information there if you wanted to participate. There's room for 10 people, and there's a few more spots. We're meeting monthly on Wednesday. And it'll be next week that will be our second time that we're meeting. So please do share in the comments, as I mentioned before, you know, how you are able to support yourself at this time, what things you're doing for yourself. I've heard many people talk about music can be supportive to them. And I thought this morning I would sing my song Grief a cappella. It is a song I wrote in '96 when I was coming out and going through some really challenging times. And I did record it on my second album, and I had a friend who was going through some challenging times, and she really said that the song was supportive to her. That's another thing you could share in the comments. You know, what music or poetry or other kinds of things that what songs have supported you while you are while you were on this grief journey, as it changes, as we carry our grief forward in our lives, as it is a part of our experience. So this is grief. Grief, it rolls over me like the waves upon the sea. My tears are spent and gone. I am an empty shell. The losses felt are many, too many, all at one time. My life turned upside down, and the pain, it seldom leaves. I'm lost inside my new world. Nothing looks the same. I'm naked, here I'm empty. I do not know the way. Grief, it rolls over me like the waves upon the sea. My tears are spent and gone, and I am an empty shell. I rage against the changes, but soon the raging stops. The anger hides my pain, a mask to hide behind. The anger turns to tears, the grief has broken through. The mask, it falls away, and the pain is here again. Grief, it rolls over me like the waves upon the sea. And I am spent and gone. I am an empty shell. So may you find some support from the music, from the sound that enters your heart. So take care this day, and for the next couple of weeks, I've decided I will try to come on and do a Facebook Live every couple of weeks, talk about the different things that are going on, and share with you a song or a poem as well. So take care. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.